Let's discuss some of the ways that you can improve yourself as a designer. What are the fastest way to do this and how you can actually measure your progress. There are some things that you will be able to research on your own and maybe read, like articles or books, and get your information from there. But other more valuable and more crucial things that you're going to learn will come from your experience only. So it's very crucial for you to get some hands-on experience if you want to improve, right? So you're going to find plenty of useful information in books, in articles, in courses, but the best way to learn this stuff is always going to be learning by doing, right? So that's the first thing that needs to be said about this topic. If you already have some experience under your belt and you just want to move it to the next level, maybe improve, you need to get your theory and your fundamentals correct. You need to research design theory and learn what makes a good design. So you're going to want to learn about basics of human perception, human psychology, and how it works in the context of computer systems in general, or just web apps and marketing. So you might want to go through sources like Interaction Design Foundation, which offers both paid courses and certifications, and also open source articles that you can read for free, right? So the knowledge is there, but if you want this knowledge to be compiled for you and you want to go through a process where you can get a certificate, then you're going to have to pay for that. So that's one source of design theory. The whole point of learning about design theory and these fundamentals is basically to understand why some things work and why some things do not work. So for example, a lot of things you might arrive at independently on your own just by trying out different variations of your design, but this is going to take you there faster. So for example, if you're going to learn about visual hierarchy, then a lot more things are going to start making sense a lot faster, right? It's also very useful and has been especially useful for me to understand what is the process after you're going to hand over your stuff to, for example, developers. So let's say, for example, you're a web designer. So it's going to be useful to know what is the process of actually developing a website. What do web developers actually do? And maybe understand a bit of HTML and CSS, although today web development is fairly concentrated onto ready-made solutions and no-code solutions. So this HTML and CSS knowledge is getting increasingly less important, I'd say. But still, if you understand a little bit beyond your horizon, beyond your knowledge, then that's going to be always important. So this all falls under the theory and the fundamentals of your work. And being aware of these mechanisms of human psychology, of how human perception works, how mass psychology works, what is the process after you hand over your work, that's going to help you understand your industry better. Right? So that's the first thing you want to do, get your theory and your fundamentals right. And then the second thing you want to do is iterate. So if you are designing something and then you produce something that you maybe are kind of satisfied with, I challenge you to try and come up with new versions and try to push the design, push what you have created towards the unattainable ideal of perfection, right? So that's another thing that you want to remember. It is, you're never going to be 100% satisfied with your work, or at least that's definitely my case. And if you're going to be 100% satisfied with your work, it won't be for long, right? So you might be satisfied one day and then you can come back to your project and question some of the choices you have made when designing the stuff. So I challenge you to push these designs towards perfection while knowing that it's actually not possible, right? Ask for feedback, ask yourself what you like, what you dislike about what you have created, and then try to fix that. As simple as that. So what I oftentimes do is when I am creating something and then I'm not sure which direction to take, I simply duplicate the file or duplicate the design, make the change, and then create basically two logical trees. So let's say you're not sure if you want to put your headline to the left or to the right. So you simply duplicate your design and then you basically create two parallel columns or rows of design, and one of them is going to be using the headline on the left and one of them is going to be using the headline on the right. And maybe down the road you're going to find out that one of them is truly better, and that's where you want to maybe stop developing the second version. But this is what I do when I am not sure about a direction that I want to take. You simply need to try it out, right? So to improve as a designer, you need to try multiple approaches. You need to try a lot of versions of your design to truly see and explore all the possible areas and directions you can take. You're going to find out a lot of things about your process while doing this. So that's very useful. Another thing that you want to do is ask for feedback. So if you are working for somebody, you want to ask them if there's anything they want to fix. I do not recommend simply sending your design and then waiting for your client or for whoever you're working for to get back to you and basically tell you that they have all these updates and that they want to change some stuff. So ask them right away what they think about this, and they're going to be more inclined to share their thoughts, because sometimes they might be hesitant to share negative feedback just because it doesn't feel good to criticize, especially if it's someone you're working with long term. It's always easier to say, hey, this is great, thanks, and then move on. So you want to actively search for feedback. That is how you improve that, and from multiple people, right? That's the best. That is how you find out what people truly think about your work, and that is very important, okay? Because you're obviously biased when you're creating something. So, and now a very important question: how do you actually know that you are getting better, right? So one of the things that might happen is, as discussed in the previous episode, in episode 1, obviously your design is gonna be better, right? It's gonna work better, people are gonna be more satisfied with it, and you're gonna be more satisfied with it. So that's pretty straightforward, right? So if you're going to improve, your quality of work will improve, and it's going to be reflected by this simple fact. If you improve, your work will improve as well. And also one very specific thing by which you can evaluate that you're getting better is that the result of your work will actually be closer to what you have envisioned in your head when you started working on that. So let's say that you want to design a poster and you have a vision in your head how it should approximately look like and feel like. Maybe you do some sketches, and then from those sketches you can kind of visualize what the final result is going to look like, but then you're going to struggle actually bringing that vision to life. So that's a very frequent problem. That's the default state of you as a designer. And when you improve, this gap between what you have envisioned and what you deliver is going to become smaller and smaller. And then one day you're going to be able to design exactly what you have envisioned in your head. But it simply takes practice, as with everything in life. Another thing that is a symptom of you improving is you will get fewer revisions from your clients, right? You'll be able to get them to deliver to them exactly what they need on the first or the second attempt. So this is especially true when you're working for, or this goes especially for when you are working with someone long term. So it's likely that when you're working for somebody for the first time or not long term, the probability of getting more revisions increases because you are not tuned in to their preferences. You are not aware of what style or what type of design or what type of collaboration they're looking for. So you can make more mistakes. But as you get to know your client or the people you're working with, the probability of you guessing what they're gonna like is gonna increase, right? So this is especially true for, as I said, fewer revisions, especially true for long-term clients and long-term collaborations. And as with everything, as I said, it's gonna take practice. It's going to take time, but if you commit to improving, if you commit to practice and designing, you're definitely going to improve, and your work is going to reflect that. So for example, with myself at the beginning of my career, I made a commitment to work for 10,000 hours as recommended by the book Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell, there's some research that supports the notion that you need to have 10,000 hours of deliberate practice before you can consider yourself to be a master. There are some people that are skeptical about this approach. But I have found out that simply fixating on this number is gonna help you to push through the boring stuff and just will help you improve. And that's definitely what happened to me. So if you commit yourself to this, you're definitely gonna get better. But it's gonna take some time because obviously there is a lot of people that are doing this. It's a very competitive field and anything worthwhile takes time. So to summarize how to improve yourself as a designer, what's the fastest way, what's the best way to do this is 1, get your theory and fundamentals right. So that's design theory, psychology, and so on. You need to iterate, you need to try a lot of approaches, you need to push your design further and not be satisfied with the first version. You ask for feedback and then you evaluate if your designs work better and if your clients are more satisfied with what you deliver. Easier said than done. But that's what I learned from my experience. I hope you found this video useful. If you did, I would appreciate you leaving a like and maybe share some ideas for what you want me to go over in the upcoming episodes of Well Designed. So thanks for tuning in and I will see you in the next one.